Okay, thank you. Good morning and welcome to the Section 3 Technical Assistance Training for Contractors. Before going on any further, please note that this presentation is being recorded for training purposes. Also, for those of you who have registered for this training, you will receive a copy of the PowerPoint presentation that I will be using. Now, if you have not registered for this training and would like a copy of the presentation, it will be available on our website in approximately 2 days. The website is www.houstontx.gov. This website will be also listed in our chat box for your convenience. Also, if you have registered for this presentation, you will automatically receive a survey. Please complete and return that survey. If you have not registered, we still would like for you to participate and complete a survey. The link to obtain the copy of the survey is at lp.constantcontactpages.com/sv/mo4fkal. Now, this link will also be in our chat box for your convenience as well. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns during this presentation, enter them in the chat box. We have our Section 3 team on standby to address any questions, comments, or concerns that you may have. I want to thank you for joining us today, and without further ado, I will now begin the training. Okay, my name is Patricia Holcomb. I am with the City of Houston Housing and Community Development Department in the Contract Compliance Division, and I will be presenting this portion of today's training. Okay, our division contact information includes our director, Mr. Keith W. Bynum, and also our division manager, Crystal Boyce. A lot of you are familiar with Crystal. Crystal is always hands-on on all our projects. Our address, we're located at 2100 Travis Street on the 9th floor, and our website is www.houstontx.gov/housing. Our team members consist of myself, which is Patricia Holcomb again, and Tiffany White. She is our senior contract administrator. Okay, topics that I will be discussing today will include the Section 3 purpose, new contract provisions, benefits, definitions, Section 3 thresholds, the numeric goal requirements, Section 3 business concerns, Section 3 worker and targeted worker, the Section 3 directories, our application processes, our eBid, EOA, and bid tabulation forms, our post-award activities, our compliance form packets, those that are over 100,000 as well as those that are under 100,000. We'll also go over the LCP tracker auditing system, our contractors' performance, our closeout evaluation. I will give you resource links and our contract compliance newsletter. The purpose of Section 3. Section 3 of the Housing and Urban Development Act of 1968 provide jobs, training, and contracting opportunities for low-income persons and for businesses that substantially employ them through certain HUD grants and funding programs. Our new contract provisions, they include the domestic preferences, which is the Chapter 2 of the CFR Part 200.322, and our prohibition of certain telecommunication technology. This was effective April 7, 2022. These new provisions must be included in all contract agreements executed by the general contractor, subcontractor, and lower tier contractors. Contract agreements must reference the provisions in the contract and include as an exhibit. A reminder about the federal regulations. Our federal regulations, Chapter 24 of the CFR Part 75 replaced our Chapter 24 CFR Part 135. That's no longer. So we have the Part 75 now, and that federal is included in the federal regulations package on page 54 through 59, and this must be included in all Section 3 covered contracts. The benefits for Section 3, they include contracting opportunities and training opportunities generated for low and very low income persons and businesses that employ such individuals. It also helps businesses and workers foster relationships on community development projects, and it provides preference to certified business concerns and workers when opportunities arise. Our Section 3 definitions. These are some of the frequently used words in Section 3. Contractor. Contractor is defined as a recipient to perform work in connection with expenditure of public housing financial assistance or for work in connection with a Section 3 project. Or they can be a sub-recipient for work in connection with a Section 3 project. A subcontractor is any entity that has a contract with a contractor to undertake a portion of the contractor's obligation to perform work in connection with the expenditure of public housing financial assistance, or for a Section 3 project. Section 3 covered contract. This is any contract or subcontract, including contracts for professional services awarded for work generated by a Section 3 covered project. Section 3 requirements do not apply to material supply contracts. Section 3 covered project, is a project that involves the construction, reconstruction, or rehabilitation of housing or other public construction. Labor hours are defined as the number of paid hours worked by a person on a Section 3 project. The low-income individuals, these are workers residing in the Houston metropolitan and the non-metropolitan areas who do not exceed 80% HUD area median income limit. Youth Bill programs receiving assistance under the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. Section 3 threshold. Section 3 compliance applies to all contracts in excess of $100,000 for housing, construction, and rehabilitation or public construction. Our numeric goals requirements. Okay, our contracting goals. There is a 10% of the construction budget. We also call this our hard costs, must be directed to our Section 3 business concerns. And there is 3% of the non-construction budget. We call this one soft costs, must be directed to our Section 3 business concerns. Labor hour goals. There consists of 25% of all labor hours performed. They must be by Section 3 workers. And then there is 5% of all labor hours performed must be by Section 3 targeted workers. Section 3 business concerns. A Section 3 business concern meets at least one of the following criteria documented within the last 6-month period. Okay, category 1 is if the 51% of the business is owned and controlled by a low-income person. Category 2 includes if 75% of the business labor hours performed over the prior 3-month period was by low-income persons. And then there's category 3, that's when 51% of the business is owned and controlled by a current public housing resident or resident who currently live in Section 8 assistant housing. These are the ways that you can qualify as a Section 3 business concern. Section 3 worker and targeted worker. A Section 3 worker is any worker who currently fits or when hired within the past 5 years fit at least one of the following. Number 1, if a worker's income for the previous or current calendar year is below the HUD income limits. Number 2 is if they are employed by Section 3 business concern. And number 3, if they are part of the youth bill participant or part of youth bill. Section 3 targeted workers include a targeted worker for Section 3 is for housing financial assistance, meaning a worker who is, number 1, employed by a Section 3 business concern, or a worker who currently fits or when hired fit at least one of the following categories as documented within the past 5 years. That's a resident of public housing or Section 8 assisted housing, or if they are a resident of other public housing projects or Section 8 assisted housing managed by PHA that is providing the assistance, or they are part of the youth bill program. The Section 3 directories. Okay, the Section 3 business concern directory. Okay, in order to receive credit towards the numeric goal requirements on City of Houston projects, businesses must be certified through the City of Houston Housing and Community Development Department. That means I know there are other certifications out there. However, we only recognize the Section 3 business concern only if you are registered here with us, the Housing and Community Development Department. The HCDD maintains a list of eligible Section 3 businesses and notifies them when contracting opportunities are available. Currently, we have 169 certified businesses. In order to apply for certification or to access our directory, you would go to our link here, hcdd section3.gov2g.com. Again, you guys will also get a copy of this PowerPoint presentation, so no need to write all these links down. This will be given to you. Okay, and then over here on the right, we have just screenshots of what you'll see if you go to that link. You'll see the Section 3 management system. You'll go down to where it says vendor certification, and then it has Section 3 directory. You'll click that, then you'll see the screen at the bottom here, and you'll go and you'll search for the particular company if you're looking for a particular company. Or if you want to look at the entire directory, you have the choice to look at that entire directory and see all our certified businesses. As far as the Section 3 Worker Directory, in order to receive credit towards the numeric goal requirements, workers must be certified through the City of Houston Housing and Community Development Department. Again, there are many certifications out there. However, for this particular program, you would have to have your workers certified through us. HCDD maintains a list of eligible Section 3 workers by skill or trade and notifies them when employment opportunities are available. Currently, we have 569 certified workers, and this is the link to access the directory here. And these are screenshots as well as what you'll see when you click on to this, go to that link. Okay. Our Section 3 Worker Directory, they have, the individual can select to be published in our directory, or they can opt out and select not to be published. If they select to be published, the workers opt into the public directory featured on our website, and they will receive notifications of employment, training, and opportunities. However, if they click none of public directory, the workers opt out and do not receive notifications. Okay. Section 3 application processes. Our application processes is here. The Section 3 business applications are only accepted through our B2G system. The application and the Section 3 business directory, you would access it through this link here. Our Section 3 worker applications are completed via this link, and that's arcg.is/18IPEI. Just like I said, you will be getting a copy of all of this. Okay, now we have a technical assistance training pop quiz. Okay. Okay, now what appendix is required to be included in all executed contracts over $100,000? Is it A, Chapter 24, CFR Part 75? Is it B, Part 675? Is it C, Part 135? Or is it D, none of the above? Can I get some participation? I don't see anyone participate. Okay, I see. Okay, I see you, Sonia, Rosalind. Okay, okay, okay. Let's see what the correct answer is.
A.
A. Yay. Okay, those of you who have gotten it correct, yay for you. And those of you who have not, you know what it is. It's A. Thank you for your participation. Okay, the EBID, bid tabulation and employment opportunity announcements. Okay, when contracting opportunities arise throughout the duration of the project, an EBID announcement must be submitted for dissemination to Section 3 businesses in the HCDD's online directory. The EBID should be sent to the Section 3 contract administrator for dissemination to Section 3 businesses in the Housing and Community Development Department Section 3 directory. The contractor will review all bids received and should award contracts based on the Section 3 procurement guidelines, depending if the bid was construction or non-construction. The contractor will submit a bid tabulation after all bids are received. The bid tabulation should indicate which awards contracts were to a Section 3 business, if any, or indicate Section 3 bids were not received. If a contractor fails to meet numeric goal requirements, records that demonstrate efforts to comply with Section 3 requirements should remain readily available for reporting and auditing purposes. Our EBID announcement. This is a copy of our EBID announcement form. Very simple form to fill out. The date, one of the things I like to point out is that date. The date and the bid due date, we need a 2-week window. We need this to be out there at least 14 days. If it's not 14 days, we're going to send it back to you and tell you got to redate it. Okay? Make sure you complete all the required information here. Another thing, contact information on who should we contact if I mean who the person or the the company, who should they contact if they're um, interested in this contracting opportunity. Okay, make sure we have like an email, a phone number, or what have you for that. Okay. A sample, this is a sample of a bid tabulation. This sample can be used if you like, or if you have your own bid tabulation that you may use, as long as it captures the same information that we're asking here, we'll accept those as well. Okay, the employment opportunity announcement, we also call those in EOAs. When new hire opportunities arise throughout the duration of the project, an employment opportunity announcement must be submitted for dissemination to Section 3 workers in the HCDD's online directory. The Housing and Community Development Department must be notified of the results. The results must include that name of the new hire, the Section 3 classification, and explanation if a Section 3 worker was not selected. Employment opportunity announcement. Now, this is a copy of that EOA form. The same thing goes here. That date, I need a 2-week window on that date. Very simple information to fill out. Make sure we get contact name, phone number, and or email address. Okay. Post-award activities. Contractor requirements for post-award. Section 3 participation plan will be needed with letters of intent. They must be executed with the pre-award services prior to scheduling any pre-construction meeting and obtaining any notice to proceed. A pre-construction meeting will be held with the owner developer and prime contractor to discuss program rules and compliance expectations. Now, this one here is very important. Contract compliance personnel and subcontractors are strongly encouraged to attend the pre-construction meeting. This is to ensure that the compliance requirements are understood before the project activity commences. Section 3 covered contracts must be included. It must include the new federal regulations. You're going to hear this many times. The Chapter 24 of the Code of Federal Regulations, Part 75. That has to be included in the covered contracts. The DR 17 multifamily projects must include the workforce provisions, Appendix number 15. Federal General Services Administration's system for award management, also known as SAMS, we call it SAMS.gov, and the Texas Comptroller search results for each contractor and subcontractor performing on the project is required at the execution of the contract and is required annually. Ensure all contractors comply with numeric goals, reporting requirements, and review documents for accuracy before submitting. Report and submit any contract changes and or change orders in LCP Tracker. That's another thing that's very, very important. We need to know all change orders. Post the Section 3 signage on site in a size visible to the public. This is a copy of the sign. This sign can be obtained through LCP Tracker. We have a copy of it in our templates in LCP Tracker. And if you still can't get a copy of it, you can contact your contract administrator and we will be happy to get you a copy of this sign. As long as it's visible to the public, as well as you may want to weatherproof it, you can put it in a plastic cover, or some people get it printed on some plastic or whatever. We just need it visible to the public. Okay. All right, another pop quiz. Everyone get ready. All right. How often must a SAMS.gov verification be conducted on a contractor or a subcontractor? All right, Jessica, I see you. Danielle. All right. Okay. Is it A, once a month? B, only when a contract agreement is executed? C, annually? Or D, none of the above? The correct answer is C, annually. We would have to have this SAMS.gov verification annually. Okay. Once you start, and then every January, we're going to ask you for a new one. Okay. Thank you for participating with that. Okay, our compliance forms packet. These are for contracts greater than $100,000. Okay, this is some of the forms here shown. Our compliance form packet, compliance forms must be submitted by the contractor or the subcontractor no later than 5 business days from the execution of the contract agreement. Okay. Initial requirements. This compliance cover sheet, this form, this captures the vital contract and subcontract information and is used to set up a project in various systems like in LCP Tracker. We need this form in order to set you up in LCP Tracker. So we may ask for this form like upfront a lot of times because we need that to get you set up. Okay, we need a start of work notice. This is a form that must be submitted when work commences. We need a request for contractor or subcontractor clearance. This form verifies that the contractor and subcontractor are eligible to perform on federally funded projects. We need the SAMS.gov results. This verification that contractors and subcontractors are not on the excluded parties list. Now, the SAMS.gov results is in 3 parts. We would need search on the company's name. We would need search on the owner's name or names, and we would need search on the company's employee identification number. Okay, the Texas Comptroller, that's that debarred search. Also, vendor debarred search. This verification contract for contractors and subcontractors that they are not on the debarred vendor list. And then we would need a conflict of interest form. This form verification that the owner or owners, the developer, contractors, and subcontractors have no conflicting relationships. Okay. We would need a contractor's Section 3 compliance certification form. This form must be completed by the contractors and subcontractors acknowledging to abide with Section 3 regulations. Again, that Chapter 24 of the Code of Federal Regulations, Part 75. We would need a permanent employee list. This is a list of all employees that were employed prior to the start of the work, regardless if they were working on the project or not. Submit this form once unless changes occur. First source hiring agreement. This form is the agreement to adhere that Section 3 policies when hiring individuals. The workforce analysis form, this indicates the need or no need for new hires. This is a forecast. The internal capacity affidavit, this affidavit should be submitted once, and it's only if the subcontractor does not have the need for lower tier subs or new hires for the duration of the project. Termination of work notice. This form must be submitted when work ends. The compliance form packet over $100,000 monthly requirements. The monthly requirements include the Section 3 monthly utilization plan. And note that I say Section 3 monthly utilization plan because we also have an MWSBE monthly utilization plan. Now, in my document type, if you input a MWSBE Section 3 monthly plan and have all the information there, I will not accept it. We need ours. You would have to submit the Section 3 monthly utilization plan. And this plan lists the subcontractors utilized monthly and or when changes occur on the project. We would need a monthly internal capacity form. This is an attestation of internal capacity status. Should status change, subcontractors must inform prime contractor, who in turn inform us, okay? Or they would submit a monthly activity report. This is the form that captures hours worked by both Section 3 and non-Section 3 employees for the length of the project. So the Section 3 monthly utilization plan and one of the other of these two here, a monthly internal capacity form or a monthly activity report. Okay, monthly labor hours and employee report. Section 3 program rules stimulates that 25% of the total project labor hours must be performed by Section 3 workers, and 5% of the total project labor hours must be performed by Section 3 targeted workers. This is required by all project types. In effect, for all contracts executed on or after July 1st, 2021. Contracts executed prior to July 1st, 2021 are subject to the 10% labor hours requirement. And this is a copy of the form here. Very simple form to fill out. And this is an example. This is a monthly labor hours and employee report example here. So this is kind of like a little guide to show you. Okay. Compliance form packets for contracts less than $100,000. Contracts under $100,000 are not subject to Section 3 requirements. However, contractors with contracts less than $100,000 are only required to submit the documents below. Okay. However, should the contract increase over $100,000, and then that's when we would you would have to comply with Section 3 requirements. Okay, they will be enforced. The forms are the Start of Work form, the SAMS.gov search results, and that's for the business name, the owner name or names, and the company's EIN number. We would need a conflict of interest form, and we would need the Texas Comptroller debarred vendor search. We would need a contract agreement or MSA or a purchase order. We would need a confirmation of subcontractor contract amount form. We also call that the COSCA form. And then we would need a termination of work at the end of that, the work. Okay, the start of work. These are copies of the forms. The start of work form. This form is required from the prime contractor, the subcontractor, and the lower tier subs. This form indicates to assign contract administrator when to begin monitoring and collecting applicable compliance documents from the prime contractor, the subcontractor, or the lower tier subs. Very simple form to fill out, just basic information, but make sure that start of work date is correct on there. Okay, the request for prime contractor or subcontractor clearance form. This form is required for the prime contractor, the subcontractor, and the lower tier subs with every executed contract agreement and annually. Date and website details must be visible on this search results for the business name, the owner's name, and the employee identification number. The debarred vendor list. This is the form that's required for the prime contractor, the subcontractor, and the lower tier subs with every executed contract agreement and annually. The date and website details must be visible on this search. Now, if you having problems getting that information on there, just contact one of us and we will be able to assist you. Contract agreements. This is very important. This contract agreement, a MSA, and or a purchase order is required from the prime contractor, the subcontractors, and lower tier subcontractors performing on the project. Executed contract agreements must be submitted within 5 business days to the Housing and Community Development Department. All executed contracts must include this. This is very important because I get a lot of contracts and some of this information is not on there, and we have to send it back and say, hey, we need this information on there. I need to be able to find a date. I need to be able to find the contracting parties' business names. I need the contract amount. I need the scope of work. I need to see signatures and dates from the prime and the sub and the lower tier contractors. I need addresses on the homes of the single family projects. And then I also need a copy, especially if they're over $100,000, of the federal regulations that, again, Chapter 24 of the Code of Federal Regulations, okay, Part 75, also Chapter 2 of the Code of Federal Regulations, Part 200.322. Okay, the confirmation of subcontract amount form. This is required from the subcontractors and the lower tier subcontractors. If changes occur to increase the contract amount to equal or greater than $100,000, an updated form is required, and then the Section 3 monthly monitoring will begin. Okay, so if you go over 100,000, that's when that Section 3 will kick in. Okay. The termination of work notice. This form is required from all the prime contractor, the subcontractor, and the lower tier subcontractors. Submit when scope of work performed by prime contractor, subcontractor, and lower tier subcontractors is complete. Indication to assign contract administrator that applicable Section 3 compliance forms are no longer required. Okay, that means once I get this form, I'm not going to ask you for those monthly requirements any longer. Also, This is used to determine whether the prime contractor or subcontractor or lower tier subcontractor are excluded from the annual search requirements, SAMS.gov, the Texas Controller, and the conflict of interest. If a particular subcontractor ends in November, and then when January comes, I will not ask them for these annual searches because I know they're done with their portion of the work. Okay. The single family requirements. Subcontract agreements are required for every subcontractor working on a project address. A master contract agreement with purchase orders is also acceptable. Prime contractor must submit a first source hiring agreement. They should submit a Section 3 compliance certification. They should submit a permanent employee list, a workforce analysis form, and these are one-time only forms. The prime contractor must conduct a SAMS.gov search on each subcontractor and lower subcontractor performing on the project. Again, the company's name, the owner name or names, and the employee identification number. Okay, the prime contractor will submit a contract cover sheet, a Section 3 utilization plan, the Texas Controller debarred vendor search, a conflict of interest form, the start of work notice, and termination of work notice for the subcontractor and lower tier subcontractors performing on every project address. Section 3 utilization plan and monthly activity reports are required every month following the start of work notice date for every project address. Until we get a termination of work notice, this will be required. All subcontractors and lower tier subcontractors must submit a confirmation of subcontract amount form for each project address as well. LCP Tracker auditing system. This is the system that we use to retrieve our documentation. Okay. Following a pre-construction meeting and or a kickoff meeting, the contract administrator will create a project profile and assign the prime contractor as the prime approver in LCP Tracker. This information required to set up a prime and subcontractor assignments in LCP Tracker is captured on the compliance cover sheet found in the compliance form packet. The prime contractor will be responsible for setting up, assigning each subcontractor to the project. We will assign the prime contractor, and then the prime contractor will in turn assign their subcontractors. Okay, the subcontractors must be assigned to a project in order to submit required compliance documentation. The prime contractor is responsible to review and approve document uploads submitted by subcontractors in LCP Tracker. LCP Tracker captures the Section 3 worker certification status and project labor hours as well. Located in the compliance form packet, this is our compliance cover sheet. This is a copy of it. Real simple form to fill out, basic information that we need, and this helps us to determine a lot of things, and as well as we will set up the project in LCP Tracker. And this is required from the prime contractor, the subcontractor, and the lower tier subs. This form must be completed and uploaded in LCP Tracker within 5 business days of an executed contract agreement. LCP Tracker. These are steps. Under the employee profile page, the subcontractor will select the demographics, then the demographic classification, where the new Section 3 employee type is located. Very simple directions here. The prime contractor steps to assign a contractor to a project. This is what we do. We go steps 1 through 6 in order to assign a prime contractor. And this is our step 2. Okay, and this is steps to upload documents. This is very helpful here. Very simple steps to follow just like I said, if at any time you have problems with uploading or following these steps, please contact one of your contract administrators, and we will gladly help you with that. And this is also the steps to uploading documents. Okay, this is a new document here. This upload locations, and I love this form. I saw this form when we first had this form put in our presentations. I was like, wow, this is really good. This is really helpful. So this is basically these highlighted here are the different document types, and then underneath it tells you where you would upload your forms in what document type. So this, please keep this. This is very, very helpful, because some of the times we get documents and they're in the incorrect document type, we cannot accept it. And the reason why we cannot accept it, because if we're audited and we have to go out and pull these documents, I can't look for a subcontract agreement and it's under the monthly report. I'm not going to remember to do that. So it has to be in the correct document type. And this is this is awesome. I love this. It's like a cheat sheet. So please use it. Okay, now we have another pop. Okay. All right. The monthly compliance requirements are due in LCP tracker by the last day of the reporting month. Is that true or is that false? Okay, Sonia, Luz, I see you.
True.
Okay, all right. The correct answer is true. Thank you so much for your participation. Okay, now we will go into our deviation request. Okay, a deviation request is required to add or remove the certified Section 3 business from the approved Section 3 participation plan. A written request from the prime contractor must be submitted to the assigned contract administrator for review to deviate from the approved Section 3 participation plan. The prime contractor must provide evidence to confirm subcontractor was notified and acknowledges the deviation process. The deviation request must include this. It must include the who, the what, the when, and the why. Okay. Our ongoing monitoring. Site visits will be conducted randomly to monitor project activities and contractors' participation. I know we were doing these remotely, but now we are actually going out again, and we're getting out there and we're doing our site visits in person now. So you will see us out in the field now a little bit more often. Okay, the prime contractor will be notified of any items identified as non-compliant with a time frame for correction by the 5th of every month. This is our compliance status report we send to you every month. By the 5th of the month, we give you about a week to correct those non-compliant issues on those compliance status reports. The Housing and Community Development Department contract administrators are required to submit reports to the General Land Office and HUD quarterly and annually that capture Section 3 workers and targeted workers, executed contracts, and Section 3 businesses with construction and non-construction related contracts. Submission of required compliance documents in a timely manner is critical for us to ensure accurate and reliable reporting. So please, please get your documents, your contracts and everything in a timely manner. Okay. Contractors' performance. These are some compliance red flags. Okay. Unresponsive prime contractor and compliance administrative personnel. That's a red flag. That's a big red flag. If I contact you and you're not contacting me back, I don't know that you're working on something. I don't get no communication. That's a red flag. Okay. Failure to submit change orders. Red flag. Failure to meet numeric goal requirements and demonstrate acceptable good faith efforts. That's a red flag. Failure to submit timely required compliance documentation, that's a red flag. Compliance monitor conducts, oh, this is a good one, a site visit and observes that contractors performing that are not included on the utilization plan and or have submitted required compliance documentation. That's a huge red flag. Documents not uploaded under the correct document type and LCP tracker, red flag. We gave you a cheat sheet, so we should not have documents in the incorrect document type. Contractors don't submit timely corrective actions, red flag. Substantial noncompliance. These are things that we really do not like to do, but we can do this if you guys are in noncompliance. Payment withholding. Hate to do that, but sometimes we have to. That's if the contractors fail to comply with the program requirements. The compliance monitor will withhold payment draws. Don't like to do it, but we will do it. Termination of contract. If contractors fail to comply with the terms of the contract documents, HCDD will temporarily suspend or terminate the contract at any time. Suspension, debarment, suspension, or limited denial of participation. That can happen upon termination if the HCC will also include contractors on that nationwide debarred and suspended list of contractors. Okay, closeout evaluation. Our closeout evaluation of subcontractors' compliance with program requirements will be included in the prime contractor's evaluation. This meaning if the prime contractors submit everything they needed to submit, they have everything in order. However, their subs are not, that will reflect on their closeout evaluation. So be mindful of that. Deficiencies may be corrected within 14 business days of notice following a closeout evaluation. We will complete a closeout evaluation, and if there's some documents that we're still needing, we'll give you 14 days in order to submit those documentations or explain why the deficiencies. A lack of action will be deemed as a contractor's inability to our willingness to correct any deficiencies. Okay. Section 3, frequently asked questions. Let me see how much time we have. Oh, I don't have any time. Well, these frequently asked questions, there are a few frequently asked questions. I advise that you go through all of these frequently asked questions, and because sometimes these can help you in your compliance efforts, and they're very good questions, and we get these questions all the time. So hopefully these questions can help you. Yeah, we have quite a few questions here. Okay, so please, once you get a copy of this PowerPoint presentation, go over these questions. Just like I said, it may help you in your contract, your reporting and everything. Okay, resource links. Okay, we have these resource links if you want to look into more of Section 3. We have HUD, we have the federal regulations, we have some more of our Section 3 frequently asked questions, and we have the Housing and Community Development Department's Section 3 website here. Okay, any questions, comments, or concerns? I know I have ran out of time. However, any questions, comments, or concerns, you can submit those questions in our chat box here, or you can contact myself or Tiffany White, and we will be happy to assist you and with your questions. Okay. Well, this concludes the Section 3 Technical Assistance Training. Remember, you will be receiving a copy of this presentation, which is a great reference, and I advise you to please use this with your Section 3 process. Okay, our Section 3 team members, again, are always available to assist you. You will also be receiving a survey regarding this presentation. Now, if you have already registered, again, you will automatically be receiving that. If you have not, we have the links in our chat box where you can obtain this information. You can obtain, a copy of our presentation as well as a copy of the survey where you can submit for us. We would love for you to complete that survey, return it, and then your comments are very, very valuable to us, and that helps us with our training efforts as well. Okay, remember that the key to compliance is communication. And next on today's agenda at 10:30 is the MWSPE Technical Assistance Training, and that will be presented by Taisha Booker. Again, thank you for joining us today. And as always, your participation is greatly appreciated. Take care.